Welcome to Holding Space. Michael ZINN is a visual producer and creative photographer using his imaginative visionary energy to channel Zen and hold space for spiritual and innovative discussion. Each episode creates a supportive, accepting, and open environment that allows exploration and expertise to come together with engaging and entertaining convergence. With guest and community all helping the shape of the way, Michael is grateful to be together to hold space. Now here is your host of Holding Space, Michael ZINN.
Yes, here is your host of Holding Space, Michael ZINN. That's me. I made it here. You made it here. We are here together. I am holding this space right here, this little square, and I'm super excited about it. I was just backstage talking to my guest, and there's something to be said about energy, right? Good energy just feels good. And we were just talking about the Sacred Spiral Network and everything that's going on here, and all of you amazing, amazing people who show up night after night to all of the shows on the Sacred Spiral Network. I also show up and I see you guys there all the time. So Gary, for Grace, what is up? Blessings to you. Thank you for being Arnie. Leighton, thank you for being here. Me and my shadow, thank you for being here. Sherry Daniels, thank you for being here. Evelyn, thank you for being here. Michelle, thank you for being here. I love it. You guys all are welcome to sit right here in the front row. You're here first, so take your seats and get ready for some great space to be held. I'm very grateful for doing this, for sure. I realized, speaking of the Sacred Spiral Network, that I am like an OG in the Sacred Spiral Network. There's so many amazing shows, but I do a lot of the work. I do a lot of the intros, and as I was listening to the intro, I realized I have the original Sacred Spiral intro music, that ba, 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 ba. That music has changed now, so I'm an OG. Consider me an OG. What's up, Kim Princess? Good to see you here. What's up, Kiara? Welcome. First time here. I think I saw you on Brian's show, so welcome to my show and welcome to the Sacred Spiral Network. It's an amazing place, and I just met another family member who I'm going to be talking to shortly, and very, very excited about that. But let's all get in the same space, get in the same intention. I know we kind of are already, but here's a little, I don't want to say ritual, although maybe I guess it is, a little something I do here on Holding Space with my friend Sage, my singing bowl here. We do 3 grounding breaths together, and we breathe in through our nose, not super deep breath work, but maybe 3 or 4 seconds. And then hold it at the top for a second, and then we push it out intentionally. And we feel it leave. We feel it come in. We feel it fill us. We feel it leave. We get rid of what we don't want. It's all about intention, right? So let's do it. Let's do the 3 breaths together. Here we go. In through the nose. And let it go. Anything that you don't need from the day. In through the nose again. And feel it, that extra vocalization. You can feel it leave and your shoulders relax. One more time. Breathe it out. I love that physiological feeling of connecting with my breath and just calming myself and hearing Sage. It's a magical bowl. I don't know, you guys don't hear it, but she's still ringing in my hand here. So I got to wait for a second before I put her down. And there she goes. Oh, amazing. Thank you guys for indulging me in breathing and breathing with me. Breathing is fundamental. So I see Kelly Brickle showed up. What is up, Kelly Brickle? How are you doing? And I see Diana Banks also just showing up. Good. We still got room in the front row. Pull a seat in, get yourself comfortable. Tonight I have a guest who I have never met before, a new a new person in my vortex, which I get excited about. And I did a little research, and of course, an amazing story of how she came across this magical existence, right? This way of understanding that everybody here on the Sacred Spiral Network seems to share. So I'm excited to learn all about her. And she said she's been away from social media for a while. And so I want to also welcome her back with a bang to Holding Space and the Sacred Spiral Network. Welcome, Maggie Winokur, to Holding Space. How you doing, Maggie?
Thank you, Michael. I'm doing well. And
Awesome.
as I was watching some of your shows, I just want to tell you how honored I am to be here and speak.
Awesome. Oh my God. Thank you so much for saying that. That means so much. I didn't even know it was an honor to be here, but I know I'm honored to be here, but that's great to hear from someone else. I want to do something really formal. I don't usually do this. But I just felt it was really nice, and that is just kind of read your little introduction. Maggie Winokur is a gifted psychic medium and channel for the divine. I really love that. She has worked professionally as a wellness and energy practitioner for more than 25 years and blends formal training with personal experiences of spiritual transformation. Maggie connects Maggie connects with your highest self, empowers you to realize your greatest potential, and delivers healing messages from your loved ones in the spirit realm. Maggie is honored to be trusted to bring you messages of love and light from spirit. I love that so much. So it feels so authentic. Some of the words that you use and some of the way you describe it. To me, that it's important, right? There's a lot of trendiness happening in the spiritual community. People jumping into it, and just like wee. But you've been doing this for quite a long time before it was trendy. So that says something right there. And also you have an amazing story I'm going to want to talk to you about. There was something else on your site. Now I'm trying to remember exactly what it was that I read that was interesting about you. It was something about, it was about what you went to school for, this real estate.
Oh, I'm an interior designer.
Interior designer. Okay, but I guess there's a aspect of it that crosses over into the spirituality, which I really am interested in asking you about. So yeah, I'm going to want to talk about that. That's awesome. So I just want to welcome a couple of other people. You said you knew Lynn, so Lynn is here. Welcome, Lynn. Always great to see Lynn here.
Hi, Kelly.
And Kelly's here too. Yes. So all right. So if you don't mind, I want to learn a little bit about you. After reading your story, and your story on your about starts with an accident that happened to you,
Yeah,
and kind of changed your life. Can we start there?
sure. I want to just back up
Okay.
a little bit. And my very first experience with spirit is when I was young. I felt, heard, saw, and knew things, and I couldn't get anybody to believe me. And we were Catholic, and I was in church, and I could see the angels. I could see the white mist. I knew they were in the church with me. And I came home and I told my mom, and she told me that that wasn't true. I couldn't see him, that only the priest could see him. And that was
Mm.
the first time I realized that, you know what? Grown-ups are wrong. Parents weren't always right. And,
Interesting. Yeah.
and so I've always believed that we all have this gift, this sacred experience, this thing that we can do if we want to connect to higher levels of spirit. And they want to connect with us.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that was my very first impact. But
Awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I also appreciate what you're saying. It's important. It's everybody can do this. And that's again something that I know is authentic, right? When people aren't like, well, I'm special, they know everyone can do this, but you also hit on a key there, and you've got to want to do it.
exactly, you have to have a
Yeah.
passion for it and
Yeah.
interest in it. And you have to be brave, because it's not easy in the beginning. It's not easy. And you have to have courage, and you just have to stick with it. So the interest helps. And if you're already somewhat sensitive, I'm not saying anything that people don't know. If you're already somewhat sensitive, it makes it a little easier. But we all
Absolutely.
have the blocks to spirit for sure.
Absolutely. And before you get going,
Okay.
I just want to acknowledge Maggie McLean saying the crystal obelisk behind you is beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
I try, like, I love the interactivity and I love the people and they talk to each other, but I also know, like, I want the story to be told, so I try not to interrupt. So I got you before you got. So let's take a step forward now.
Okay. So when I was 19, I was traveling with a friend of mine. I grew up in California, in Southern California, and we were at the river, at the Colorado River. And it was late at night and we had been out. We were 19 years old. And my girlfriend turned and looked at me. We were walking down a highway, but everybody did it between these campgrounds at that time. And she turned and she hugged me and she said, Maggie, you are my best friend and I love you. And we were standing inches apart. And next thing you knew, it was interesting because actually cars stopped on the other side of the street. It was a 2-lane highway. And I couldn't figure out why they had stopped at, 1:00 in the morning in the dark. But they did. And then we were hit. And as we were hit by this car, this is a sad story. Mm-hmm. I was spinning on one foot, I was told. And I had in my mind, oh my God, it won't be me. It'll be Stephanie. It's Stephanie's time and you're to be with her. Be brave. It's Stephanie's time, not yours. Just like over and over and over, like a broken record. She didn't make it. She passed very quickly. And the next morning, when I left the hospital, I walked out and the sun was rising and I was standing at the hospital. And all of a sudden I felt my entire body being taken up to heaven, just taken to the spirit world. I could smell her favorite food. I could see her. She was sparkling. She was light. She was translucent. And she was telling me that she was in chains. Her life was meant to be short. And that I had promised her that I would be with her during this time, that we had made this commitment and
contract. Yeah.
Before we came down. And I can tell you that moment was profound in my healing of being the one that walked away, being the one that was guilty, all those things that come up for a young person to lose somebody in a tragic, horrible accident like that.
Sure.
And I knew without a shadow of a doubt that she was with, and there is a spirit world and we can all reach it.
Sure. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that, for sharing that. I can feel that. And I just want to tell you, as you said, like, it's profound. Like, I felt that as you were telling it. That's the feeling that was, like, that's a heavy story. That's really, amazing to have experienced and be here to talk about, especially the way it affected you and how it changed your life. Yeah. Amazing.
So I've been walking that path and searching and researching and looking and trying to figure things out my whole life. Always, never ending.
Yeah. So were you, immediately connected, to your friend, like, as far as.
She's been with me the whole time. She's not around much right now.
Yeah.
She's not quite around as much, but she's with me the whole time. And I can feel her in, when I start to feel fear or in dangerous situations or think something that may feel dangerous to me, or that I need to be careful and I need to watch out and I need to take my time. I can feel her energy just kind of entering me and helping to calm me down. It's very interesting. She's a very light and very reassuring energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Incredible. And I feel like the way you tell the story as well, the significance of her stopping in that moment and telling you that she's her best friend is kind of like she knew, almost like, like this. Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember thinking at that moment, this is really strange. Why is she telling me this right here, right now?
Right.
Here, right now.
Right. And also I think it's important, just so you know, because again, I can feel it, right? And it's part of you, and it's beautiful. And I know it's beautiful, right? Even though it kind of maybe looks sad to some people, there's a beauty to it. The audience here, the energy of the people who are receiving this, everybody here is saying, thank you for sharing this. I don't know if you're seeing the comments come up, but I can feel everything in my heart and soul as she shares. Thank you for sharing. My brother who passes a baby switched with me. I was supposed to go. So you're in the right place to tell your story. carry, right now. I mean, I could feel
I
it.
feel the love and support, and I
Yeah.
feel the joy, and I know she did have, and the truth is she did have many chains on her in this life. It was a very, very difficult life for her.
Hmm. Hmm.
It was
Hmm.
so stunning. And recently, I don't want to go on about death, but I just want to tell you recently, in the last year, my children's father, my ex, passed.
Mm.
Came in for a full-on visit, sitting next to my bed,
Mm.
and brought me up to beyond the veil to the other side, and answered questions for me and showed me what it was like.
Mm.
It was unbelievable. I'm sure I just touched a little bit of whatever beyond the veil, whatever energy he could get me to.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Questions for me that I didn't know, and it was really spectacular. So I hope that everybody gets to have a visit like that.
Amazing.
And
And
what
that
was
was
interesting,
that
sorry,
immediate? Was that like right away, like right after you passed,
yeah,
or did it?
it was in 2 weeks. And I told him, I
Right.
said, you have to come back, and you have to come back and tell me what it's like. Uh,
Mm.
but what was interesting is how I could get all the information as being a medium right now. It's not just what he said. It's
Mm.
what he said. It's what I felt. It's how
Mm.
it looked. It's how it smelled. It was the
Mm.
knowingness about it. Because I'm practicing using all my senses, I had a much different experience than, when I was younger and didn't know and would have just said, he said this.
Right. Right.
Naturally, I was able to pay attention to it all.
Wow. And so let me actually just backtrack a minute.
Yep.
At the time of the accident, you didn't have it like a near death experience.
No,
You just were injured
I
from the
walked
accident.
out. I,
Right.
I was hardly even injured.
Wow.
I walked out with a big contusion bruise on my leg.
Right.
We were this far apart.
Right. Right.
It was shocking to everybody.
Yeah.
It was shocking
Amazing.
to everybody.
Yeah. And then you said like that was kind of the spark that you started, like you backed up first, right? And you said you had experienced stuff when you were younger, right? Connections that no adults were listening to you. Was
Right.
that when you said, okay, now I know when I was a kid, this was real, and that's what it was? Did you identify it
Yes.
as that when you
Yeah.
were from? I gotcha. Wow, very cool.
What I
Very cool.
didn't know until right before I started to do it was that you could train to develop your senses.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
didn't know. I was
Yeah.
seeing mediums at 14 and psychics, astrology. I was
Hmm.
every book and all the information I can find about it. I've been doing affirmations forever.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
any gleam. I studied energy, back when I was I was in the beauty industry,
Hmm.
Reiki and energy healing. And
And
um,
that's, I feel like that's an interesting combination too. Like the beauty industry, I think kind of, there's kind of, I don't want to, I guess it gets a bad rap, right? Like there's this side of beauty that's like vanity. But that's not, I don't think that
yeah,
somebody who is into spirituality is into that for the same reasons. Like skincare and healthcare is self-care and self-love.
yeah,
It's much different than adoration and vanity. Like I said, so it's an interesting combination.
right.
But I see the connection, for sure. And I love it. I think it's great to kind of combine the physical and the scientific almost, right, with the spiritual.
Right. Well, what was interesting is when I first started working in it, first I was exhausted and I didn't know how to protect myself. And I'm touching
Hmm.
people, I'm doing skincare, I'm a body work, I'm a massage therapist, I'm doing energy
Hmm.
and other.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And then I started getting information, and I started getting
Hmm.
seeing, and I wasn't sure what exactly I was seeing. I would see past lives. I'd see people that I didn't know coming through with messages. I would pick up information in the psychic work. I would tell them, oh, I think I see this. I think I see that. And it would often be true. So they would ask me questions. My clients would start asking me questions. Do you see anything? Is there anything you want to tell me? And fun. And I didn't, as I said, I didn't know you could develop this into into the magic I can experience now, blending with spirit.
Totally. And I think that's an important thing too that people don't understand. And if I think about, you're kind of like making me think in my head, right, about psychic mediumship and spirituality, 20 years ago versus today. Where you would go to a psychic and you would be like, oh, that person is gifted, they have a gift and they're special. Where you said, and I agree, and this is also a thing I kind of gauge authenticity on, is you just need to want to do it and you can practice it. It's like somebody who wants to be a fitness model working out their muscles and their body, you're working out the intuitive muscles and the spiritual muscles to fine tune that ability.
Yes.
And I don't think people realize that. Well, I do think people realize that. And that's what this community is people who realize, wait, we can all do this. There's so many gifted people who show up in the audience. And I even love that too, right? That's authentic to me. Like, I'm not out to be like, oh, I'm gifted and I'm going to show everyone. They're here to be here for everybody else's gifts
Right.
and kind of collectively share in the energy.
And I
Which,
think that's where people first start seeking, is they're seeking visiting you, visiting other psychics, mediums, learning more about spirituality. And inside, they know they want this stronger connection.
mhm,
And maybe they don't know how to develop, maybe they don't have time, maybe it's not the right time in their life. Because I also believe there's a time and a place in
mhm,
everybody's life for this. That
absolutely.
you commit yourself for whatever period of time you need to feel safe doing it.
Totally. Totally. It's interesting. I'm just noticing some things going on in the chat, if you don't mind.
No,
I don't really know what's going on. I do see somebody mentioned the word palpable, and Bernadette says, "What is palpable? English is my third language." And labyrinthian criterion says palpable is like something you can touch, like it's physical. But as you were talking, I was thinking about my interpretation of the universe and the language of the universe being emotion,
right.
being a feeling. You were talking about it wasn't something that your ex said to you, it was more like a feeling, and the smells and the feeling of it. I think that also is related to palpable, right? Feeling. It's something that you can feel and relate to. And I think that's what intuition is. When you say, "Oh, I'm intuitively thinking of something," it's this. It's just a feeling that something, and you're kind of swayed that way, right? You're pushed in that direction. Awesome. I'm loving this.
It talked to me when my ex came. His name's Richard, so let's give him a name. When
Okay.
Richard came and sat on the bed, I immediately vainly thought, oh, he needs help crossing over because he wasn't really into this. He needs my help for some reason. And I asked him, I was able to be in a weird phase and talk to him. And he laughed at me. He said, no, I think I've got this, but I want to show you what this is like.
Right. Right. Wow. Okay. And so you said you started to do it. Hold on. Let me back up, because I really love everything that you're saying, right? Like working before you kind of realized and had a more awareness of what energy is and how it works. You were just kind of going through life and having physical contact with people, working on people, and not realizing that there was energies being exchanged. You know what I mean? Like I guess that's the best way to describe it, right? That energies were being exchanged, and being unaware of it, sometimes you would end up like having feelings or feeling bad as a result. Is that what I'm guessing?
In the very beginning, I was tired, but I learned how to, I would always ask people and research things. And I knew, I didn't know how it was working, but I knew it was through touch.
Mhm.
I thought it was just through the touch that I
Right.
was actually getting this information. But what it was hard to trust is it real? Am
Mm-hmm.
I, even with validation, and when I was brave enough to tell people what I'm hearing, because I don't really want to get things wrong, and it just happens when you're doing this work, you're going to get things wrong.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think my wife does Reiki, and she also gets messages sometimes, and one of the biggest things she talks about, and a lot of mediums and people that I talk to, is really kind of getting yourself out of the way, right? And interpreting messages, and that's probably what you're talking about, like getting it wrong. It's like you interpreted something when you should have just let it come through and let the person who received the message interpret it, right? Yeah,
Or even saying it and have them saying, no, I don't, that doesn't happen to me.
right. Well, I talk about it often, and it's part of why I think I got into this seat where I'm at now. Is I have a couple of good friends who are psychic mediums, and I just love go like I would be filming, like I'm a cameraman, I'm a video production guy, so I was always kind of documenting and like there experiencing it, but it was like I felt it, I felt everything about it, and it was always so amazing to me. Um, just to watch and to be a part of. I forgot where I was going with that. What were we talking about?
But you can be sitting there and filming and feel it too. That's like how palpable it is, the connection with the spirit world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be necessarily in it, right there, filming it, looking at it, and feeling it. And you're also, well, incredibly sensitive, you know that. But that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty fortunate, and I guess I'm kind of I don't like usually talking about myself, but for some reason I'm kind of being told, right, to tell this story. And I was at an event this weekend. It was Look Up for Adam Day. Adam is the son of a woman who I know who died from an overdose. And this woman, Linda Newson, created this bereavement group for mothers and fathers of sons and siblings who have passed to an overdose. And it started off very small, and it was really crazy to watch it grow and how much of an epidemic it was. But the group was so amazing. Palpable was the word I used. Like the way that these people turned their grief into gratitude and support and love for life and for their angels who had passed, and they were now their guides. It was such an incredible group. It is an incredible group to be a part of and work with. And the story is, one year she asked me to come document a ceremony they were having. It was International Overdose Awareness Day. And they went down to the dock and they wrote messages on these big leaves, elephant ear plant leaves, for their angels. And each family went to the end of the dock and cast the leaves into the water. And I was documenting this, and holy crap,
Wow.
like I literally felt like I was there at the exchange moment of the family and the angel, just as an observer, but the angel knew I was there, and I knew I was there. It was really heavy. I mean, I bawled
That is
for a long time after that. And thanks Linda. I was like, Linda, thank you so much. Like, I'm a video guy. You just asked me to come video this. I didn't think anything of it, but what I experienced was beyond. You know what I mean? It really was.
special. And having those rituals that we can do. I mean, there's so many different ways to do a ritual. We take the time out to purely honor them, and through the action and the intention we set to honor them, allows spirit to come closer, and you can really feel it. The funny thing is, I have a client named Linda who has a son that had an overdose.
Wow. And was his name Adam by any chance?
No, his name is Christian.
Yeah.
But a funny
Okay.
story about that. After I read for her, it was about a couple weeks after I read for her, I was taking a class and I was working with a really good medium. And she had a young person that came through that was died from an overdose, described it, came through and wanted to thank me for helping his mother. And she said, it's Christian.
Wow.
So I read Christian, and he came through with a completely different medium to thank me. That's
Crazy.
yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's real. Yeah, I mean, spirit works in such amazing ways. It really it's really crazy. Some of the things that I've seen, some of the things, I think. Not even talking about spirit, right? Talking about energy. I think, like you said, we can practice this. We can get better at it. I think so many things have happened. Another great story is Kim Princess, who is a viewer of the show. Um, I had put a message. Actually, I'm going to put it up right now. I had this message at the bottom. Do you have a unique or interesting story you'd like to share? Reach out to me. And she reached out and told me the story of her father's passing and how she's starting to read tarot, and these things were happening. And so I invited her on my show. She came on the show, And my theme is we all create our own reality. Talk about energy and talk about intentions.
Yes.
Once you understand that stuff, you realize you create your own reality. So that was my theme for the show. And literally on the show, she got invited to be a guest on 2 other shows to read tarot. She's probably talking to Kelly about doing a show. Who knows? But literally, like, it's like I'm talking about my own creating reality, and now here it is ripple affecting out, and just like
Yes.
it's amazing. It's amazing. Um, amazing. You're awesome. Your story's awesome. So tell me what happened next, where you're at now. You said you started getting asked to do it, so you must have decided, okay, it's time to do this at some point as a
2017, at the end of 2016, 2017, I was taking it was my daughter's birthday, and I like to do an experience with her, not a gift,
Mhm.
an experience.
Oh, I
And
love that.
I came across a course that you could that you could learn how to read psychic energy.
Wow.
And I also had a time, I took care of my mom for a long time, but I had a moment in my life and children. I was a single mom and married and blah, 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 blah. I went back to school, building,
Hmm.
doing houses, life, a very busy life. And I had a moment where I actually had some time, and I dove in like my hair was on fire. I went to this class this weekend with my daughter. I started getting messages right away. I started doing research. I found different tutors to work with. I went out to Arthur Findlay several times. I became
Wow.
friends with a big group of people and continued to study and still do. And then eventually started doing readings. I do retreats at my home. I do
Nice.
spiritual retreats, and I'm a breath work facilitator. I love doing breath work. When you're in that altered state, you can see past lives. You can have
Mm.
spirit come through. You can actually guide your guests, especially people that are not, I don't want to say they're not spiritual, but they don't know how to use it yet.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And so in that state, you can guide them with their permission, obviously,
Hmm.
guide different areas of opening up and due to the breath and raising their vibration and seeing, feeling, hearing, and knowing things that they may not have experienced before. So I love
Wow.
doing.
I love that you're saying that because I experienced that myself for the first time over the summer. I did breath work, and um, I have a few friends who have done a lot of different plant medicine pathways, and I think it's all amazing. I think I'm an open book, right? I think I can't deny anybody of their reality, right? So if somebody tells me something amazing, I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. Tell me more, Um, I haven't gone the plant medicine route specifically. Maybe anyway, regardless,
Long time ago, long
a
time.
long time ago, right? But when I did breath work, I literally felt like that's what I would imagine like ayahuasca is, right? Like I was literally experiencing the moment inside of my body and outside of my body at the same time, like as an observer, watching what was going on.
Yes,
Um, and it was incredible. And I was watching my body twitch, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, look, I'm releasing. Like I knew what was going on. Like I felt what was going on. And man, I want to do it again. So my question to you is, do you do that? Can you do that remotely? Is that
yes,
something you? Oh,
yes,
awesome.
yes.
Awesome. We're gonna need to talk because I really need to find a coach who can help me do that. And I feel like that's something you enjoy doing. So
Yeah, I love doing it. I love taking groups, especially people that haven't done it before. I love doing topics. We can just do a general, but I also like doing spiritual topics, especially if you've come to one, you're coming to another one I'm doing, or another one I'm doing. You can look at it in different ways and have different focuses on what you want to release and what you want to bring in.
cool.
Um, and it feels like how I feel when I connect to spirit.
Mm,
Love and life is eternal, and our souls never die. They just live on, and
mhm, mhm, mhm.
sort of feeling.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And there was something you said Two, I don't know if you said it to me or it was on your website or I'm just feeling it right now, but the joy that you get out of helping people, I think is really apparent. And I think it's cool because I've always said to all of my psychic medium friends after I watch them like do something intense, I'm like, wow, I watched you heal too as you heal that person, right? Because they get emotional sometimes, too, and like they're in that moment. I know, like I said before, you got to kind of detach a little bit, and just let the message come through. But even as an observer, sometimes those messages are so powerful, like, and to me, an emotional response is that very thing that you're describing, right? Like that palpable thing, and talk about manifesting, the idea of manifesting, right? They say manifesting is you can think of something and bring it to life, right? Well,
Yeah.
emotion is that exact thing. When you're thinking of something that's got you, you could feel it right here. You're choked up and your eyes are watering, like physical water is coming out of your eyes. You're manifesting. To me, that moment is like you're holding hands with your soul, like you're the closest you could be with your soul at that moment. So when I have an emotional response to something, I'm like, okay, what's going on? There's something significant in this moment, um, and I think it's a good gauge,
Absolutely. I don't think there's any better feeling to share with another human when you're able to do it. The feeling that they are with their loved one more time because you were able to blend, if you're able to, spirit allows it and brings this through where they feel like they've spent an hour with a loved one that has crossed over and they
Yeah,
want to come through and they want to help and they want to be there.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's the connection that like turns me on the most, right? Is not only does the person, obviously there's so many people who will go to a psychic and they just want to hear this, they want to hear that. So they're there, right? They're already like ready. But to see that both ways, right? To see the spirit actually want to connect to that person and I can't imagine how it would feel for the spirit, right? To see that person react the way they do, right? Like, oh my God, that's so much healing, you know. Um, pretty cool stuff. And so, okay, so where has it taken you in life? Like what has this opening up to this ability shown you?
Oh, wow. That's a big question. I believe in the bigger picture of things that I'm more able to be in acceptance of what is coming next, acceptance of my life. And through acceptance, I can be happier, more joyous, free about what is coming next, not
Hmm.
needing to know, because I do believe without a shadow of a doubt, even if it's not something I want, things are for my highest good. For instance, sometimes it happens really quickly. I have a home in Malibu. We were hit by the very first fire, the Franklin fire, and it was really scary. This was in December, right before the Palisades fire, and we've been through many fires before. Nothing like this. I actually wasn't
Mm.
home. My young son got in with a couple of friends and was saving our house. This fire was so gnarly; they had to retreat 4 or 5 times. It burned
Wow.
down. It was the firemen had given up on our location.
Wow.
We were burning
Devastating.
sides.
Yeah.
It was a miracle that the wind shifted and they saved the house. This was really, really hard for me. It was really, I had just lost my mother. It was really overwhelming. I was mainly scared to death that my son was going to die because he obviously didn't want to lose his parents' house.
Mm.
And 3 weeks later, I was at home and the Palisades fire started. And the
Wow.
Palisades fire, unfortunately, it was completely devastating, but it burned right up to the south side of my house and it burned from the canyon above,
Wow.
60, 70 feet from it. And there was
Wow.
all around it. So that particular fire, the Franklin fire, and everybody in my neighborhood that suffered this fire, there was no fuel left for the Palisades fire to keep going down and burning in Malibu.
Mm. Wow.
It was like immediate. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Oh my God. And then this has saved our home. And not only our home, but the fire department was have a good relationship with my husband, volunteers and cooks for him for the fun of it.
Wow.
Yeah, it stopped the fire from going forward. So you never know. Could be good, could be bad.
Right, right.
Process of allowing myself to, set intentions in my life and to know that I'm held in the hands of a higher power, divine inspiration. And I might not know everything that's right for me, but there is a bigger message at work. And I may have lessons that I don't like. And that's okay.
Right.
Not always as easy as it said, but I know that. I know this in my heart and I try to practice it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I think that's important. Excuse me. Yeah, I think that's important. What was the word? Oh my God, it was in my vortex just a few weeks ago. There's a word of being okay with the way everything is. Oh my God, I can't believe it was in my vocabulary. I was so excited. I was like, oh, this new word, it means so much. And
I think I knew it.
and I forgot it. Hold on, I'm going to put myself on mute because I got a big cough coming.
Yeah, go ahead. And I can talk if you like. The other thing that I've really learned is using this work for some other parts of my life. Like I went back to school as an adult. My kids were a little older and I had been doing interior design for a long time and took the UCLA interior design program. And I used my spiritual work. I love working with color. I learned a lot about colors. I have an eye for color. Color is really fun. And I have used that for many, many projects. I go in, I feel into the person, I see what they need, what they might want. I work with the colors of the house, the energy of the house. I can do clearings in real estate.
Cool.
Real estate friends. So it's changed how I address some of my other everyday things in my life. But it's brought me incredible joy and incredible happiness. And I feel like this is where I'm meant to be.
Awesome. Yeah, you definitely are. You definitely are where you're meant to be. And I love also what you're saying is interesting. I had a friend, actually Brian, reach out to me today, and we're talking about colors and the meanings of colors and sounds and numbers and frequency. Everything is frequency. All of that is different expressions of frequency and the significance of every unique person's frequency, every unique soul's frequency, right? Because all of those frequencies play together to become the big orchestra, of everything, and that's amazing. So that was one of the things I wanted to ask you and talk to you about, this crossover between the interior design and your schooling and spirituality. So now that makes sense, and I guess I got to start looking into that. Excuse me again. I got to start looking into that and understanding more. And I'm imagining as I start looking into it, I'll start being like, oh, that makes sense why this happens, and that color. Oh, that makes sense. I'm pretty neutral. I wear black mostly because it's not the way I personally express myself, right? It
has colors.
What's that?
There's a lot of your auric field has colors.
I would imagine, yes. I would imagine it does.
Obviously, how psychics and mediums read people is, through their soul and through the auric field.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And so, yeah, I gotta start looking into that. I mean, it's interesting because I am an artist, I'm a photographer, and my work is very colorful. Some of the stuff I did recently was using a projector to project colors and patterns onto people and photograph it. So my work is colorful. Just my fashion sense is more like I don't know. Like I want to find out, right? Like what's my intention? What's the meaning of what I wear and why? There must be some sort of subconscious thing happening, right? As far as like,
you ever wake up, like I woke up, I wear a lot of neutral colors too, and I felt like wearing blue today. So it's kind of like, what is your mood? What do you feel like? And
I guess there are occasions where I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to wear this color today.
Even if it is a neutral, neutrals have meaning.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And of course you were talking about, Lynn, and how Lynn works with color, and
trained with with Colin Bates, and we both had our foundation, and Lynn has taken it to a whole other cool level.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. And it's cool too because I think people can relate to it, right? Like different people relate to it. And I love that about energy work in general and everything that's going on is the way that it's diversifying. I kind of like that because I feel like people are going to receive it the way that they're going to receive it, right? And it's going to, to me, it's all the same. It's all the same thing, right? So if you talk about angels and spirits and aliens and fairies and all of these things, I feel like they're all just different expressions of the same thing, different frequencies. Yeah. So
that we can reach in and feel all the living things and things beyond.
exactly. Actually,
To make decisions. I use my
oh,
intuition to make decisions. We aren't building right now. We were doing a lot of small subdivisions. That's taking a couple of houses or whatever and breaking them up and building 7 or 8. And they're big decisions. And if I didn't do a good job, we couldn't sell them. We're going to lose our ass. So I had to really pay attention to what I'm doing.
sure.
And I would get so caught up with what is the right decision. Then I just started connecting into asking spirit or holding, feeling which one was better, or using a compass in my chest, telling it, this is to the left is right, or asking it which way is right, which way is left. And just letting spirit tell me, connecting into my heart chakra, which is where we have our knowingness and our consciousness, instead of my brain where there is no consciousness, just thought, decisions, and complications.
So do you work with any sort of totems at all? Do you do tarot readings or anything like that? Or you're just purely self, you work with self and thought and spirit and I don't know how I would describe that.
I used to work with oracle cards, and I like to work with pendulums, and I like to do, it's not back there, I have a big crystal ball. I like scrying. I like to use all the tools, and I've been doing paranormal investigating for a long time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But in my readings, I've just gotten to the point that I don't need it. It's almost a distraction. If I'm having a hard time connection, I will connect through color, and color has specific meaning. And as I start talking about the color, that will often take me to the next step. But I do love all the tools and journaling, and I love using tools, but I don't connect in for fun and for other people. And in retreats, I will use them and with friends. But when I'm doing professional reading, they're around. So if I get stuck, I will use words. I'll be kind of stuck, and I'll look around, and I'm like, oh, learning. I bet that we need to talk about that. And
interesting. I've been seeing. There's a girl, Maggie, who works with divining rods. And I find her really fascinating, right? And it's interesting to watch. Again, I was saying earlier, it's kind of trendy now, right? So if there are people who jump on it, but it's interesting to watch. And I feel like I hope that my sensitivity, right, at least helps me be a little discerning, right, in who I look at, and I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing, when maybe it's not. But I really like what she does, and I guess that's what kind of made me think of, if you possibly use any sort of, totems or other. Again, to me, it's all energy. It's all how you connect with energy.
I do like to do a ritual just to tell myself, I'm telling myself, my soul, my brain, my power, that I'm getting ready to work. And in the spirit world, I'm getting ready to work. So I have a ritual of cleansing and clearing and meditation. I like to sit in the power and something kind of specific. I'm sure many of the other people on here do it. And I grow my roots down to the center of Mother Earth. And I visualize that as a beating heart, and I feel that power. So I like to energize as well as having, the sacred light come through.
Sure. Yeah, no, I love that. And actually,
then I play a song.
What's that?
I play a song to lighten things up and to get my energy up.
Nice.
Joy,
yeah.
love, and who loves this person enough to come through. And
That's cool. I always love that about the Tony Robbins seminars, they like play this music to pump everyone up at the beginning, and they like encourage everyone to get up and dance, and
Yeah,
like they
their
stir
energy.
up the energy. They really stir up the energy. It's really incredible. Um, but now, shoot, now I forgot what I was going to say. Um,
The
it may,
paranormal investigation, just to touch on that really quick, that I
yeah,
started
yeah.
15 years ago, that was because I didn't know how to do readings. And I was still trying to get closer to spirit, to communicate,
Hmm.
to find out who's here. How can I talk to him? How can I communicate?
Wow, interesting.
Hey, so that now it's not nearly as interesting. I do have a couple of buddies I do it with,
Right.
but um, it was before it was really popular, and that was it. How can I get close to spirit?
That's interesting that you say that, because I definitely see that there's a crossover, right? There's definitely a crossover between, the paranormal and the metaphysical. And I think that that's kind of where it is. Again, it's just different ways of interacting with spirit, one may be a more direct relationship that you've had, and one is maybe just a less direct relationship with spirit, but just an exploration into the spirit realm, right? To interact with spirits maybe that you don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. And I also recently on the show discovered the word psychopomp, which is kind of what you were talking about earlier, where there's spirits that kind of need help passing on, right? They kind of don't really realize that they're stuck in some sort of interworld, right? In between the afterlife and the current life, and just the idea of those spirits as entities, even clinging on to people and causing certain conditions with people, or even I would say essences, right? Like moods, the way people are, like that could be because of some sort of entity. Like I've just recently started kind of hearing all of these things, and it makes sense. Like it certainly, I could be like, oh, people are nuts, you know what I mean? But I guess again, because of my open mind, I'm like, oh, well, this explains this, and this could be this, and it all kind of ties together. And like I
Right.
said, I have a hard time denying people of their experience. If somebody's telling me, that this is what they experienced, you know, unless my intuition is like they're trying to pull one over on you, you know what I mean? I'm usually more fascinated than anything, and like tell me more about this.
That's
Amazing.
very interesting. I hear what you're saying, and along those lines is it's like we're blending with a negative energy, like we're around a negative person, and
Hmm.
you know, I, I won't know the truth until I've crossed over.
Hmm.
Is spirit attached, to our homes and not leaving? Are they coming in for a visit? Is
Hmm.
it a
Hmm.
portion of that spirit's physical energy, like a mirror
Hmm.
that's in the
Hmm.
house and their soul has gone on?
Right.
I kind of go through all the different beliefs, but I
Right.
know, but if you've got bad negative frequencies in your house, not to blend with them,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Right. And again, that comes with kind of training your sensitivities to it, and being more aware of it. And then even I think I find often, it's an introspective thing, right? It's like, wait a second, why am I acting this way? I mean, like, recently I had a show where I came home from a visit with my mom, and I had a fight with my mom, and it came up on the show, and I worked through the whole thing about energy and action, and accountability and essence and all of these things, and it really is amazing to be able to take a step back, and not run not be driving through your ego, right? And kind of, be able to be like, all right, I'm not perfect. I have flaws. I do things, and I can only try to get better.
Yeah, and it's
You
definitely
know,
a practice, that's for sure.
it definitely takes practice. But I also I'm gonna endorse the idea that it gets easier as you do it. You know what I mean? As I'm getting older, I'm just getting happier and happier, you know what I mean? And it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm making more money or I have more. materialistically, you know what I mean? But it's just like energetically around me, what I have is more fulfilling, you know, because
Happiness is a choice, and you're choosing happiness. And you're,
exactly, exactly. And
you're
and I want to also, that just again, it's just kind of reminding me of things that have been floating around in my head. I brought this up. I was watching Jennifer's new Love show.
I'm excited to watch that.
It's really, really, it was a really good episode, a really good debut. But previous to that, I had seen another show on relationships, and the thing that was said was that I don't know how we got on relationships, but we're talking about them now. The thing that was said was, you know, people think that they're looking for someone who's going to be the one, right? They're going to have all of these things that you need and that you want, but the truth is there is nobody out there like that, but you can make somebody the one
Yes.
by making, like, by just, that's the person I want,
Yeah, I
right?
like
That's what I want, and you make them the one, and then they become the one.
this.
And that just meant so much to me. I was like, wow, you know, like that's what I feel like happened in my relationship, right? I wasn't looking for anything. We got together, and it just became this thing because I think we were both in this place of being able to, we had already made ourselves the one, right?
Yes.
And so we were able to make each other the one.
And through that
Um,
commitment and love, you grow together. I can see that
yeah,
you both grow
yeah,
separately and together. And that's really
um,
important.
yeah, amazing. Again, and that's just a part of the bigger picture, you know, which is amazing. Everything's exactly the way it's supposed to be. I love that so much. Wow, Maggie, you're amazing to talk to. I feel like we have barely even scratched the surface of who you are and what you do. um, but I try to keep my show to an hour and be fair to everybody and let them and let them go to bed. I'll have to invite you back. We'll have to
Thank you.
talk again. I know you mentioned to me you're maybe in talks. I don't know if I could mention that. Is that
Yes,
something I
go
can
ahead.
mention?
Yes.
So you're thinking about doing a show on the Sacred
Yes.
Spiral Network?
Yes.
Uh,
Kelly and I are in conversation. We have a name,
amazing,
and I'm probably going to get settled back at home in the next couple of weeks, but we will look forward in March, and
amazing.
very excited.
Amazing. Let me pop on. I should have done this a little earlier, but let me just pop on your website there in case anybody felt a little buzz as we were talking to Maggie, and he wants to know more and maybe work with her on some breath work, or any of the amazing things that she can do. Um,
This has
I think.
been so much fun, Michael. I was so nervous, and
Oh,
it's been so much fun.
cool,
I loved
cool.
having the people there on Facebook. Everybody's live, and everybody loves you.
Yeah, everybody was, you know what? I'm sorry to the audience. I wasn't bringing you guys up as much because I saw you guys were all like having these conversations, and I couldn't jump into the middle. I didn't even know what you guys were talking about. I love that you guys all talk to each other in the audience while we're here, and you sit in your seat and you listen to us talking. It's really amazing. So thank you guys for being here as well. And Maggie, thank you. Do
Thank
you
you.
have any like words of wisdom? I know you do. Uh, but like for the moment, like what kind of message do you have for
Well,
the
first of all,
collective
I send
audience?
everybody a big gift, a giant, giant gift coming from spirit of pink roses, and to know that your love always shines through. And when you're looking, you talk about the energy and the love. You can find it right inside your heart. And when you share that love to the spirit and to everybody in your life will just flow so much better. And even those we don't like, we don't have to mean it. It still works. You don't even have to mean it. So thank you for that. That's what I have for you today.
Oh boy, that must have been fun.
I wasn't sure if you were coming back.
All of a sudden,
I'm
my
gonna
screen
wait
went.
and look at the comments.
All of a sudden, my screen just went, and then
We
like
were
I was
done.
on. I
Spirit
was
was
on a
like,
different
"That's it.
page.
We're
I
done."
was like, where did we go? Life will get so much easier, as you were saying, right? And you know what? I I I asked for it because I told Spirit I love adversity. Like I just love when something goes wrong because I know that if you get through it, what's on the other side?
Yes,
You're
and you
like,
learn that.
was that so bad? No, it wasn't so
No, like,
bad.
I mean, that was the leaving message. It was like, enough, whatever she said, whatever you heard, we didn't need the rest of it. Didn't need
There
that.
you go.
Done.
Awesome. Awesome.
And
Maggie, again, thank you so much for being here. We'll definitely have you back. Don't go anywhere when I run the credits. I want to talk to you afterwards and definitely see if we can
I know.
arrange some breath work. I
I'm,
know Arnie,
where
by the way,
are
what's
you in
that?
New York? Are you in New
I'm in
York?
New York. Yeah.
Are you in the city?
I'm not in the city. I'm on Long Island.
I'm in New York all the time.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Amazing. Well, don't go anywhere. I just want to mention. I know Arnie mentioned when we were talking about breath work that Hardy Patel. He's a mutual friend. Does great breath work, and actually, Arnie Hardy is who I was doing the breath work with in Costa Rica when I was talking about the breath work. He is amazing. That was amazing. But thank you again, Maggie, for being here. Let me put you in the back and sign off my show, and I will talk to you in just a minute.
Yep.
See you soon. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. It's been a while since I signed off this way, but let me just take a deep breath in and let it out. I love that. I love that. Breath is so important, and I love that Maggie was referencing that during this show. And thank you guys for hanging in there while I just disappeared for some reason. So on Thursday, let me open my calendar. I don't know who I've got on live stream. I don't know if I have a guest this week lined up. I don't have a guest lined up this week. If you want to be a guest on the live stream of consciousness this week, get in touch with me. I don't have a guest lined up. I normally can get someone last minute. You know, it's always a party at the live stream of consciousness and an amazing conversation. So join me on Thursday at the live stream of consciousness. And on Tuesday, again, I don't have anyone lined up. I do have on the 19th lined up, I have Morgan and Nathaniel, who are a paranormal couple. They're explorers. They were on some big magazine, and I'm going to talk all about that with them. They're on the All Access Television Network. I am going to invite Roger Kabler back, who is an amazing comedian. I've got some really good stuff lined up. So I'm not even going to tell you. I'm just going to say, come back and join me. I'm here on Tuesdays, holding space, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm here on Thursdays, the live stream of consciousness, 9 p.m. Eastern. I love all of you guys. You're amazing. Thank you for being here all the time. And peace.